Well, I went to GameStop yesterday and I made this purchase. We're about to find out, did I choose poorly or did I choose wisely? Hey YouTube, what goes on? And welcome back to Disavowed Action Figures. Tonight, bringing you another action figure review, taking a closer look at the Hasbro Indiana Jones Adventure Series Grail Knight from the Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade wave. Pretty pumped to get this thing in hand. Yes, there are some other figures in the wave that are not from Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, but to me, they're the ones that actually matter. So I did find this at GameStop. I picked it up at full price as I'm not currently a GameStop member, so I did get it for the ticketed price of $24.99. The entire wave was there, with the exception of Sean Connery, Indiana Jones's father. Had they had him, I probably would have also picked that up. I've really kind of picked and choose my way through this entire line. Some here, some there. I did not need every single Indiana Jones. I really want to build the artifact, especially this one looking very cool. But I just don't want to buy all these figures, to be perfectly honest. Like, why do I want him? He was in the movie for like, what, 10 minutes? Almost picked her up. She was there. Kicked it around. I thought to myself, you know what? I'm not all in on this, but I knew I wanted this guy from the minute I heard he was announced. Heck, from the minute they announced this line, I knew I wanted that figure in 6-inch form. So if you haven't watched my reviews before, we'll basically take it out of the box, look at the aesthetics, move it around a little bit, check out any accessories it might have, and then we'll do the thing I enjoy doing the most in these videos, which is compare it to other figures and other lines. And here is the Indiana Jones Adventure Series Grail Knight as he appears coming out of the packaging. So one major reservation I did have with this figure was going to be the articulation. First of all, as we all know, these Indiana Jones Adventure Series figures are made by the same wing of Hasbro that does make the Star Wars Black Series, which I just don't really collect anymore because the articulation is just bad. Again, Black Series fans, I feel bad. Let me know in the comments if I'm that far off, but single-jointed arms, single-jointed elbows. I know you get some cloth goods, which is great. So I was really curious how this guy would move. He does come with a decent amount of accessories and the cape. The cape obviously is going to inhibit some of the movement of the figure, but I thought we would take a look at him first. We'll look at the accessories, and then we will kind of move him around with the accessories on and with the accessories off. All right, so first impressions, they friggin' killed it. Killed it with this head sculpt. That is friggin' awesome. It looks right out of the movie to me. Let me know in the comments if you think I am incorrect, but it looks really friggin' good. I don't know the actor's name who portrayed this character, but damn, it looks great. We get the emblem right here on the chest, which looks really freaking cool. I kind of collect knight figures, whether they're Mythic Legions, whether there are some Fortnite figures. If it's a knight, I tend to buy it, you know, Marvel Legends and whatnot. So I do have to collect knight figures. So this being an Indiana Jones representation and just a random knight on the shelf is pretty cool. We do get the line work going on right here that is sculpted. We get the brown belt going around the waist, which also has the paint on there. The belt also extends down onto this lower, like, tunic piece, I guess you would call it. The chainmetal or armor looks pretty cool here on the hands and the wrist. That's also sculpted on there, so nice job there. We have the button sculpted going all the way down the belt right there. On the back, we also do have an extension of the belt going all the way around with, again, the paint right there on, I guess you call it the buckles that are on there. This looks really freaking cool. I'm getting Big Papa pump feel here from the old WCW era. This is a nice sculpt going on right here as well. It's not removable. It is sculpted onto the head. That would have been cool, but I guess we never really saw him like that. But yeah, head sculpt is on point. As far as, like, in the just overall aesthetics of this thing, looks really freaking cool. Let's take a look at him wearing the cape, because that's going to be a pretty big litmus test to see what we think of him overall. And you know what, I didn't even mention, so let's just look at this right away. So this is soft. It will allow for some articulation, which we'll look at in a few minutes. But again, we also have the boots down here, which also has that same type of texture going on that matches the hands for that, you know, chainmail or for that armor, whatever you want to refer to it as, underneath. Even down here onto the actual feet of the boots. Came out really good. Really liking the different effort they put in right there. So the cape itself does just pop right on over his head onto his neck. This has an interesting, nice looking texture to it as well. It's actually a softer plastic, which is great. We do get the red drawstrings, for lack of a better word, with kind of the silver caps at the bottom. We do get the emblem again on the back of the cape, which looks really cool. I like the folds that are in this. Also, they made sure to make it long enough that it does sit behind him. So if you hadn't done that, I would think this could be top heavy and want to pull backward on you a little bit. But again, this is nice because even if he starts to fall backward, that's going to act as almost like a bit of a base to put him up there. And again, you can't quite see it. I don't know how it translates on camera. I really do like the texture they did put on this. It definitely makes it stand out. This really pops with the red color that they use to make that jump out. And again, the hood, that's just sculpted. It's not going to actually made of fabric, but it's kind of neat. I can't stop but wonder, though. I made a comment earlier about how the nice thing with Star Wars Black Series is you do get a lot of soft goods to make up for articulation or lack thereof. Kind of feel like we should have gotten some soft goods with this guy. I mean, this looks great and everything. I'm sure there's, you know, customizers out there that have different capes and different things available, but I just feel like overall it would have helped a lot more with articulation later on had they made that fabric or some sort of cloth to go along with it. Okay, let's look at the accessories and I guess the Build-A-Figure slash build a Grail piece that came with him, and then we'll move him around and check out the articulation. So his main accessory would be his sword. Nice sculpt down there on the handle, or is it the hilt of the sword? There's a peg here, so I'm guessing that will peg in somewhere to him for storage purposes. The sheath is just a nice brown color with like a gold or a silver kind of at the bottom. This will obviously just slide right out, getting a better look here at the handle, or I think it's the hilt. Again, just a good looking sword. It looks pretty appropriate for the time period. Obviously, he has the gripping hands to hold it, so I do like that we did get storage with that. We'll look at that in a few minutes. Then, in addition to that, we got some other pieces that will go basically on like the stand with the other cups and everything from that end scene where Indy works his way back through all the traps. This is pretty cool. Came out nice fire effect on that to sit essentially on the, is that an altar or the table that it comes with. We do have, I guess this is like a plate. Again, I didn't really look up to see what these accessories were called, but this is also a nice sculpt, nice silver going on here. You can see the sculpt going around, different cracks and such, or points in that dish. Then we do get some different cups. We do get the, I believe this is the wooden cup, right? This is the one I think that Indy picks. That's the correct one where he chooses wisely. Let me know in the comments if I'm right or wrong. I think the Donovan figure, which we will compare him to, I think he came with the cup that he picked, which basically ended his life. Gave him a bad day. And then again, these two alternate pieces as well. We made a lot of jokes about the Indiana Jones Adventure series in other reviews we did, like for Short Round, because so many of the accessories were so tiny. There's a little voodoo doll that came with Short Round. Indiana Jones Club Obi-Wan, the Tux figure from Temple of Doom, came with the smallest little diamond. It's right back there. And even right here, this came with another one of the build a figure or build a background pieces right there. Build an artifact. That's big enough. It's the same size as the cups, but this stuff's easy to lose if you're not careful. So I kind of kept it here on the side for a while. It's kind of like a little joke. But yeah, overall, different accessories looking pretty cool with this guy. So I did want to pop off the cape for a moment here, just to kind of show you how the sword does basically pop right in for storage purposes. So right here on his left side, our right side, mixed onto the belt, or this part right here, you can see there's the smallest little holes. It kind of took me a couple minutes to even find it, but you'll see that it's obviously not filled in. So just want to peg that right in. It'll pop right on essentially to where his hip would be, and line that up however you'd like it to go on. And then we can put his arm back down. And the only problem I'm seeing with this basic setup is going to be how well is this going to sit. And by the way, there's also a peg on this. I forgot to mention that. So you just push it over the top and it will peg into his back. So let's see how that works once we get that pegged in, which of course it's not going to want to peg in for me here. So for now, let's not worry about the peg. But basically it rests on the shoulders, and you can see that the way they did fit that cape, it will not come far enough forward to really cause any issues with the storage for the sword. So that's pretty cool. You can have it stored. You can have the sheath on there, if that's what you want to call it, or have him holding the sword with the sheath on there as well. So I think it's pretty decent. Not a bad idea right there. All right, the moment of truth. That's what articulation is like. So the head will rotate all the way around. It'll look down a little bit. This is soft enough to look down. It will look up a little bit as well. A little bit of attitude. You can kind of just be like, yo, what's going on, man? What year is it, right? So not too bad on the head. The shoulder will go all the way around. It will go out slightly past, actually more than slightly past 90. You do not get the upper bicep cut. There's nothing there for that. You do get the swivel at the elbow, which I think is pretty standard when it comes to Star Wars Black Series. Single jointed elbow, but again, it does swivel. The hand will rotate all the way around. The way this pegs in, it actually allows for both horizontal articulation and also vertical as well, which helps with that sword. As far as the legs go, again, they did slice this on both sides, so that will pop up. So you can get the leg about as far up as you can get this, but it's going to push it back down naturally, as you can see right there. Underneath, we do have an upper thigh cut going on. The knee will swivel as well. And then if we flip this back, we do get a single jointed knee going on. But again, no boot cut, but you do get that rotation at the knee to make up for it. Feet will go down extremely far, way too far for a non-ballerina. It will somewhat ratchet and click while you move it. It'll move up about that far. It is on a rocker, so it will rock as so. As far as the torso goes, it does basically go and do the circles and the tilts like this. Far forward, about that far forward, not too far. Far back, will go pretty far back, but the problem is, this looks kind of ugly right here. And we'll also go side to side and tilt about that far on the sides. Again, you can do the splits because it is cut on the sides of the tunic, whatever you want to call his outfit here. So we'll do the splits as well. So again, articulation, if you have the cape off, it's going to do more than it is with the cape on. I guess it does enough. I mean, this is a knight. He's been there for like, what, 1,000 years? I don't know how many years he's been there, a long time. But again, he's not going to be too limber moving around. In fact, I think he swings the sword, and that's about when he's spent anyway. And I also did forget to mention, there is the ever so slightest amount here of butterfly joint. So you do get a little bit. So you get about that far back with the butterfly joint, about that far forward. You can kind of see the butterfly joint in there. It's not doing a whole heck of a lot, but it does something better than nothing, I guess is the way to look at it. But again, for what this guy is, I was not going to pass him up. And I think overall, the articulation is not enough to make me dislike it. And actually, as far as accessories go, I also did forget to mention this small little piece right here. I think I rolled back behind my rotating base. So again, that looks decent. It's going to sit there with the other cups as Indy tries to decide which one is the correct cup to take. And in terms of some comparisons, starting off some other Indiana Jones Adventure Series Hasbro figures, here is the Donovan from the same movie holding the chalice that would be the incorrect poor choice. And here is also the Raiders of the Lost Ark Indiana Jones. I don't plan to buy every single Indiana Jones. I just don't need them all in my collection. So this will be my placeholder for my Adventure Indy. And you can see these do scale well together. You'll see in a few minutes. They do not scale as well with other non-Hasbro Black Series Star Wars figures because they are kind of that smaller scale. So compared to other 6-inch lines like Marvel Legends or G.I. Joe, they do seem a little bit small, but put together on the same shelf, they all look pretty great. And sticking with the Indiana Jones Adventure Series line, here is the Club Obi-Wan Temple of Doom Indiana Jones, and also the short round Temple of Doom Indiana Jones. And I get it, different films, the same figure line, they scale fine, and they're making up for a nice, pretty decent shelf here, I think. And here is how the Grail Knight from Indiana Jones stands with the G.I. Joe classified low-light figure and an older Marvel Legend being the Black Knight release. I army built some of these and kind of got rid of them over the years, but I still have a few of them. So again, they stand relatively well together, actually, and I kind of like how the chainmail looks on the Black Knight. Even though it's kind of, you know, darker gray and kind of grittier looking, it still does stand out and look pretty cool with the kind of lighter, cleaner look of the Grail Knight. And, you know, low light's just hanging out with two knights here thinking, I got a gun, not a sword. And I had to pull the perspective back a little bit here, so I apologize if that was too jarring. But here is the Grail Knight standing with, let's just say it, probably the best action figure line to buy Knights, which is Mythic Legions. And this is kind of the downside. You can really kind of notice the smaller scale of the Indiana Jones / Black Series sizing here. Again, I guess Knights can be any size. He's not wearing as much armor. But again, I really feel like the Templar really does stand a lot taller than he does here. But he does fit in well, so I think if you are a Mythic Legions collector and you wanted to kind of add him to that part of your shelf, you probably could get away with it and make that work. For some outside-of-the-box sort of comparisons, here is the Plunderlings Feral Cheetah and also the NECA Ultimate Elf figure. Here is the Indiana Jones Grail Knight, as standing back-to-back with the big bad mother fragger himself, DC Multiverse McFarlane Toys Lobo. And a lot of people have been asking me, did I see that new Lobo on the motorcycle? Yes, I did. Am I going to get it? I just don't know. And as everybody loves to say, certainly not least, here is the Hasbro Indiana Jones Adventure Series Grail Knight from Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade action figure as compared to the Jazzwares Toys Unrivaled AEW Orange Cassidy. And it's not often that Orange Cassidy stands higher than a lot of figures I do tend to review. And yeah, I think the Grail Knight needs a little bit more articulation to look up into the eyes of the orange. All right, so final thoughts on the Indiana Jones Adventure Series Grail Knight from Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. This thing's friggin' awesome. Again, it's not perfect. What is perfect, right? I wanted this thing from the minute that they showed it. I wanted it from the minute they announced they'd be doing figures from other movies. I just remember looking back, watching this as a kid, and just the iconic moments when he'd be on camera in that finale of the film was so freaking cool. I think that's why I dig having these medieval and kind of knight figures in my collection. So I definitely wanted to compare them to some Mythic Legions and some other knight figures as well. Unfortunately, some of them are at my office at work, so I did not have them here to compare. But again, do you need this? $24.99, not a terrible price. I know $19.99 is better. I get clearance is much better. Some people already said on Instagram at Disavowed_12 in the comments that I should have waited to get it on clearance. If I want something and I like it and I think it's good, I don't mind paying full price. I don't mind waiting for things on a long game either, but this is something I really wanted to get. I did not expect to see it at GameStop so early, and I saw it. I didn't even hesitate. I grabbed it. I'm happy to have it on my Indiana Jones Adventure Series shelf. So everybody, thanks for watching. If you are new, please consider hitting that subscribe button. It is free for you. It does not cost you anything, and it helps us grow the channel tremendously in March to 6,000 subscribers. Leave a comment down below, hit that like button. And for daily toy content and daily toy updates, try checking us out over at Instagram and Twitter at Disavowed_12. Hey everybody, if you're going toy hunting this week, please try to remember the 3 Ps of the toy hunt. Patience, persistence, but most of all, politeness. Take care, stay healthy, and I'll be seeing all of you at the pegs.